live. Namaste, everybody. Akasha here, Nan Akasha from nanakasha.com, and many blessings to everybody. So it's a little bit of a reconnection on the other side. I'm not through yet, and we're not through yet because we're going to talk again about this upcoming eclipse that we're in. Now, if you've watched the recent shows, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you watch the show I did last week, which was a transmission really of the energies, and then the one that I did prior to my retreats, which is everything is below. It's in the playlist for the Spiritual Weather Report, and it's there for you. It's also, I think I just put it up so that if you go to this channel, it will be the one displayed for you. The one I did with Donna Stellhorn, my good friend and master astrologer, who has such incredibly wise and practical insights into how to see what we're going through. So I do lessons with her, and I re-listened to 2 of my lessons during this last week because I've been on an incredible adventure, and I've been really wanting to come back and share everything with you, and I haven't been able to, partially because physically I'm having a lot of my shedding is coming through ear infections and throat infections and chest infections and no energy and all kinds of other things. And what's interesting is this started before the retreats, and I went through a whole big thing, and then the retreats were great and I was fine, and then I came home and it came back again, and I knew this. So I did 2 sessions with Donna beforehand, and one was about the retreat, the dates, what's optimal. I like to, we pick the dates based on a natal date, like a natal chart, and then the energies that are coming up, what we're doing. And then I did a session about the eclipse for me and for my mastermind. And so the listening to them again now, after like a month later, right? But it's about the right now, this week till Monday. And assuming everything continues to align, I will be with you on Saturday, and I will be with you on the eclipse. And on the eclipse on Monday, I know it's Monday, so for some people it's a normal work day. However, I really want to encourage you to acknowledge and realize that the eclipse is happening, whether you've got your goggles and you're in the totality of it. And I'm going to share a really cool map with you in a minute that shows exactly where the totality is, goes over part of the United States, Canada, and Mexico. We're going to get a partial view where I am, and you do need to have something to watch it with if you are anywhere near it. So be careful. Otherwise, you can look at the shadows, or if you are one of my students and you've been to a retreat, you probably have, I have bigger ones, these obsidian necklaces, and they're actually originally were made to look at the sun through. And they look pure black, but when you put them up to the sun, you can see it. So I will be having mine. I have jaguar ones and plain ones and all kinds of ones. There's also things like this is obsidian, although this one's quite thick, but there are ones. I have one upstairs that's more like a flat round disc, and it's maybe this thick. And that's probably, I'm just realizing, a really good thing to watch with as well. Now, one of the things is, okay, that's one aspect of it. Ooh, really exciting because we can see it. Then there's the whole science aspect of it, which is where the map comes from. I read a lot of the science stuff as well. And the energy side, and then I'm blending them into the spiritual energy and the awakening energy and the energy in the moment right now. So the Spiritual Weather Report, which we are doing today, is the intention is what I was doing for myself. I decided, wow, this is really so helpful. I should share this. And so I was taking time to look at the energies, to learn more about the astrology of it. I have some experience in human design, which has astrology as part of it. And I wanted to go deeper into both of those. So I've been studying those, doing private lessons and doing a certification in one aspect of human design thing with a client of mine. And what's been so interesting is I go to learn about me. I want to understand me better. I want to understand the patterns that my life has had. I want to understand the successes and the failures, because what drives us is what? Oh, I wish, I want, Okay. So I want peace. I want ease. I want my body to not hurt anymore. I want my energy back. Oh, and I hit, woo. I was like at the bottom of the well, and I'm coaching and teaching some of my clients and students right now, and we're all doing it in our own way. And so I'm not a teacher or a mentor that says, oh, I'm perfect, I've done it all, and I'm sitting up here on the pillar. I'm like, I'm down here with you. Oh, it's 11:11. I love that. As soon as I see us, and I'm like, I'm down here in the pit with you. Now, you may not feel like you're in the pit. I'm not trying to drag you into a pit. However, what I'm talking about is what's happening is the breakdown, the great metamorphosis, the grand transition, and it's happening to everybody. So it's like saying, everybody's calm, but you had a problem, and you go home and everybody can be calm around you. This is more like, what did they used to call those disaster movies or something like, earthquake and the towering inferno. I remember that one. And these like, everybody, right? Everybody is having a breakdown, a meltdown. Everybody is freaking out because these people are going to war, and this person's elected, and this person's illegal, and this person should have done that, and this happened to this person, and that, and mine, and this, and how, and where, and when, and what if I don't have the money, and what do I do with all the money? And actually had a client say, I wasn't prepared. This is like maybe the 5th or 6th time that I've heard this. I wasn't ready for everything that I was working on to come true. I am the fairy godmother. So I'm kind of a little bit now like, what's next? Like, this is the stage where you start to realize, wow, I can be free. And the perception you had when you're trying to get free, right, is like, I want to be free of this stress or this anxiety or this weight or this poverty or this thoughts in my head that I'm not good enough or feeling unsafe okay. So we're going deep, and we're talking about your mental state, your emotional state, your auric state, your cells, everything in your light body. Your light body is all of that, contains both the fears and the patterns that you brought with you from other lives that are really the template for the stress and anxiety and challenges and successes and everything that you've been through in this life. So consciously, you do know what your other lives have, and yet you are so consumed with your life here that you see it only from this perspective. Thank you. Bring yourself back into yourself. So what do we do with a situation when it looks like everything's melting? Yes, it's a metamorphosis. Everything is deconstructing. That was the word I started to use after a while for my life, because instead of it being something that has a sense of a barrier or a block, something that has power over you. I suppose you don't really have to see that bookshelf too much. Something that has power over you, right? Something that's out of your hands, something that's out of your control, something that makes you feel powerless. So why are we talking about this? Because we're in an eclipse portal, and we're in a really big one. Some eclipses relate to eclipses before. If you're feeling some of the patterns that were coming up a year ago during the eclipses, that might be true. Could be many years ago when the eclipse was similar to this one in terms of the sign or the house or something that it's in. This one's unique because we've never been in a big transformation. We've never been in an accelerated time of evolution. We've only lived in a slower time where barriers to our consciousness growing and barriers, my clothes don't fit, barriers to the things we think we want, because we keep perceiving it the same way as before. We can't go into and create a new world if we are acting the same way. So an example of that is when I had the first big deconstruction in my life, closed my business, didn't know people didn't pay you, just the whole thing. Complete, I am the worst person in the world. I worked so hard. I spent all my money on my business. I lived on credit cards. I made lots of money, but I put it all back in, and now it's all gone, and nobody paid me. And just, it was beyond feeling sorry for yourself. I didn't know what to do with it. My family didn't know what to say. Nobody knew what to say. And so I was sitting there, just didn't believe in anything. So then you seeking. So what are you seeking right now? What's an eclipse? it's a portal. That's a nice woo-woo way of saying it's a door. And what's the other eclipse? It's another portal. It's another door. And they're a pair. And this is called the season. So the season of the eclipse would really be like the season of moving. And you're moving from one room to another, is the way that Donna says it, which I think is just a really great linear vision to just see the simplicity of it. Don't think a bunch of dramatic stuff. It's just, you're in a room. What does that mean? The room that you live in, if you're a Ram Dass fan, it was one of my first teachers, is your projection of your perceived reality of who you are. So you are being something. And maybe 60% of it is full of doubt and fear and anxiety and dragging around the past. And 40% of it is thinking positive and changing how you feel about yourself and taking better care of your body and realizing that your body and your brain and your environment and the people and the place and the things you feed yourself, like shows or TV or Facebook or whatever, it's feeding you and you're eating it and you're digesting it. And then what? You become what you eat. And then you're emitting. So all your positive, whatever empowering feelings and all the other ones are in the same soup bowl together. And it brings you into an average. It's like melting ice. The water gets cooler, the ice gets warmer, and they find a point of coherence. Your current coherence is not aligned to your soul's path or your soul's or your heart's desires. And in some way, you're seeking or you're transforming or you're hoping, and you secretly have fears and worries that something isn't going to work out, or what if somebody screws me over? Can I trust people? Should I spend the money on this? What if I spend money on this and I don't do it? And, we could go on for about 16 hours of just nonstop verbal diarrhea, right? Around all of the thoughts, the mindsets, and everything that we have or have had. So in 38 years or something, experience of my own path, having these massive breakdowns that did what? They opened a portal. Would I ever have left that business if I kept making $1 million a year? If I kept getting in all these magazines, selling in all the department stores, selling to all the catalogs? This is where I was. So no, I would have kept going. I'll be like, this is what I want. Clearly, my soul path was completing something there, was doing something there. For starters, my family never made businesses. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a banker. My sister was a banker. That was it. Very linear, very muggle, very traditional. And I'm over here. I took physical therapy. Was my first year in college. I was good to be a physical therapist. I guess that's what it's called. Anyway, I dissected a human cadaver. I do not want to do that now. I don't think I could do that now. And I really enjoyed it at the time. So I was extremely attuned to past life powers. I didn't know that's what it was. You're the same. When you go through an eclipse bridge or portal like this one, you may be going back through old diseases, back through old fears, back through old lives. You consciously know it, or you're just frustrated, or you're annoyed, or you keep seeing a pattern, or you keep getting this. Now, this is not unusual for me. It's pretty unusual now. I live a very, very pure life, and I eat really pure and all the rest of it. And yet it doesn't, your body manifests what's in the mind. It manifests what's in the aura. It manifests what's in the emotional field. It manifests. So the souls that you're traveling with that make up your whole soul, you got together to design this life. So you have to have a blueprint somewhere or you wouldn't be here. It takes great effort to have a body. Okay. So instead of hating your body or judging your body or not liking your body or constantly thinking it needs to be better or it needs to be different or being willing to punish your body by binge eating or doing something over and over that is hurting you because, fill in the blank. None of this is about bringing guilt or blame to yourself. If you start shaming yourself, you're in a low state. Then that's what you're emitting. Then that's what the world is bringing back to you. So right now, You're in a process of cleaning out the room you've lived in, the reality you've lived, from your mindset and your thoughts to your personal opinion to your identity for yourself, to how you think about money, how you think about your future, what you think you could, should, or want to do, what you don't think you know what to do. Have you ever let yourself be happy? Have you ever let yourself dream? Have you ever let yourself really want what you want? If you really asked yourself, do you believe you're going to get what you want? Or are you just on a treadmill seeking it, chasing it in the same way over and over, feeling like you're getting dizzy and sick because there's no way out? So whatever version of this you've been in or you're not in, this may be coming up in your face right now. Now, the beautiful thing about the work that I do, I'm doing my work for me, and then I'm walking with my clients and students who are doing their work for them. It doesn't mean we have to be in the same stage at the same time. However, it's a cyclic experience. So I was going to say the muggle, I guess it's accurate. The conditioned mind, the ego mind, the 3D mind, the responsible, practical mind, get a job, save your money, don't do anything too fun. Don't think you can be happy. Who do you think you are? The rest of us are miserable. Why do you get to be happy? Actually, Chris and I have both heard this. It's a choice, people. And are you choosing to stay unhappy? Are you living with someone or somewhere that you don't like? It is not feeding you. It is sucking your life force and taking your time. Your time is limited. You only have so much. Do you want to do it like this? Or do you want to do it the way you're dreaming? Or maybe part of your life is starting to be that. Maybe you came on the retreat recently and you're like, ooh, oh my God. And we're all rebirthing. I mean, we did 8, 9 times into the womb, into the caves, literally caves of Gaia, into sacred ceremony, into all this work, into Shibalba, it's called, into the underworld. And that means that I took this, and those people who came on this, and those of you who did something, gosh, I feel like I got a bite. It's so itchy. Is that I knew this is coming. I'm watching it. That's why I do the spiritual weather report. I want to know the cosmic energy because it's going to have an effect on you, whether you understand it or not. It just is. So what happens if you go, okay, I'm going to go through the equinox, which is about balance. And it is the most important to the ancients. A lot of astrologers now really don't pay any attention to it, which is shocking to me. And I'm so excited because I'm going to go to Stonehenge with a bunch of druids and goddess women on the dawn of the equinox in autumn. It's going to be epic. I love doing that kind of thing and being in those places. So in whatever way you can. However, here's the thing. You have a certain amount of time. It's your choice. It may not feel like your choice. You can say, oh, but I don't have the money, or, oh, but this person won't be happy if I decide to spend more time for myself, or say, no, I don't want to sit and watch TV all night with you. We can listen to music and talk. We could, read books. We could sit outside. We could go for a walk, or we could do our own thing. You do not have to hand over your life to anyone else, even your kids, even your husband, your wife, your mother, your best friend, or your whatever, okay? This is your life. Don't get to the end of it and decide, oh shit, I wish I'd spoken up sooner. Oh shit, I wish I'd left that marriage sooner. Oh shit, I wished I'd, gone on this trip or taken that thing or done this. Do it now. If you have a true desire for it and you're able to come into the present moment, that's where it is. Okay. The solution is there. The magic door that's going to open to you when you follow your bliss is there. All the things you're seeking, inner peace. I wanted peace. I didn't want to feel in pain. I didn't want to feel so judgmental on myself. I didn't want to feel so ashamed. I didn't want to feel guilty. I didn't want to do anything when my first company collapsed. And then later when my daughter died. And then later during my divorce when I lost everything and went through a bankruptcy. And I've had so many of these things, and you have too. And yet at the time, they're painful, they're horrible, and yet what are they really? They're a completion, they're a redirection. And you're leaving a room. This reality that you're living, whether you notice it for 3 months, 2 weeks, the day the eclipse happens right now, 3 weeks ago, whatever you're noticing, it's talking to you. And it's always talking you to lead you towards your highest good, which is you reconnecting to your soul powers, which is you not going by the rules of everyone else anymore. I was so shocked the other day. I learned that women couldn't open a bank account in 1974 without a man's signature. And I was like, holy moly, I was in high school. That's not that long ago. This is ridiculous how slow this is going, right? So what do? You stop waiting. You stop waiting for your higher self to show up and tell you what to do. Go seeking your higher self. Take the intuition class. Go do something that is going to awaken your senses. Yes, you have to choose something different. Yes, you have to have people that won't like it. Yes, they'll love you. They'll hate you. They'll make you their savior. They'll blame you for something. A friend of mine who's worked with animals, then turned that into like touring with animals, and then has slowly awakened to her own spiritual self. And now she's kind of a healer that connects people and teaches them how to talk to animals and to heal with them. And she said that she usually doesn't tell her family anything about her business. And she happened to have left her tagline in an email to her family and got a huge letter from her brother just berating her, just absolutely taken after her. Who do you think you are? Saying that you're an energy healer. That's all bullshit. You're a snake oil salesman. You're trying to dupe people. You're charging people for doing nothing. And, she said it didn't surprise me that he said that. I just was surprised at the vehemence, the nastiness, the cruelty, the intentional use of the words. So what happens when that happens? You can't change them. I don't care how much you love them. I would love to be able to do this with my mom or my kids, or do something, or have a different relationship. And it's all like, but I want to be more loving and I'm such a nice person. Yeah, get over that too. Because that's another block. The waiting for people to like what you're doing or agree with it or whatever it is. When I went into real estate investing, I had no idea about it. I saw an infomercial 7 nights in a row. I was taught not to buy anything on TV, that it was all a scam. And so I just kept laughing at it and leaving the room. And I'd come in the room, my ex would go to sleep with the TV on. And every night for 7 nights, the same infomercial at a different time of the day or night would be playing part of the same infomercial, but a different part. So that after a while, I'd seen most of it. And each time, first time I was like, please. The next time I was like, this again? How stupid. Poof. Walked out of the room. Each day I watched a little more. And then, I spent 5 hours on the phone talking to the salesman. It was a $5,000 course. We had $5,000. I had credit cards I could do that on. We weren't really rich, but my ex had his perspective of life was fear, especially around money. Never wanting to spend it, never wanting to make a decision on it, even though he did very well and always got every job he interviewed for and stuff like that. So what happened is that I was being called by my soul to something. I didn't know why. I'd never done it. I couldn't go and say, oh, I'm going to be really good at this. I couldn't even tell you why. It was the weirdest thing. I was going against a childhood program. This is what I'm talking about. What if this room that you're leaving, and Monday, technically, you're going to move into this new room. It means that room is not accessible anymore. It means that whatever you take with you is coming with you, and whatever you leave behind, you leave behind. And the patterns that could be kicking your ass right now, taking you to the depths of the darkest night of your soul, are your gifts. They're your allies. Listen to them. Go with them. Sit there. Stop trying to avoid it. Accept it. Now, if you were in one of my classes, or you're doing private work with me, or you're going to join the mastermind, which I highly recommend, that you have to have a conversation with me about that. It's a small group. We only have like 2-3 spots left, and it's for very specific things. And this is a way, though, of we share the journey. Right? We share the journey, because I can learn from what I see in you and all my students, and then I see a pattern. And then I see, oh, there it is, there it is, there it is again. And then I have to also realize that that's in my reality. So in some aspects, it's teaching me, it's being a mirror to me. In some aspects, I'm seeing the pattern so that I can understand a bigger picture, right? Everything that's coming towards you is for you, but it's coming through the filter of who you are, who you believe to be, what your mindsets are. So the biggest thing that I can give you today is to tell you to acknowledge that this is what you're going through, even if you have a busy, busy life. All right. I've spent a lot of my life pushing, working really hard, working extra, finding deeper and deeper beliefs that were embedded from all these experiences that I've had in my life that started with childhood. And then now I know were patterns I chose to bring into this life to complete. So it wasn't like, oh, good, you're going to be punished. Here's a bunch of shit you got to carry through your life. People are always going to beat you up. People are always going to be a bully to you. You know, nobody likes you, whatever. That's your perspective, and that's where your choice is. So what I've had to learn is not bring me peace, give me peace, tell me the answers. I understand feeling that way. Sometimes you're exhausted. And one of my clients said that recently. I just have been going through a phase where I just want someone to tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. I'll do it. Guess what? No, that's exactly when you're not going to get that. And anybody you listen to is not going to have the real answer. And most of the stuff that is shouting at you and pushing you, buy it now, buy it now, buy it now, is not the moment to buy it. If you have to buy it in that second or it will all blow up, then you don't need it, because that is force, and your decision making cannot be made from force. Now, if you have a design or a makeup that's good at making snap decisions because of your intuition, I have a different authority that means I have to ride the emotions of it. And yet I can make very quick things because I've developed my intuition and my ability to shamanic journey and to see and to vision and to travel, talk to almost any spirit, any stone, any living essence here, there, in any time, space, or place. So that's my reality. And I show up and trust that I know how to be a clear and open channel to that. But how did it happen? Because I've been filled with all the same kinds of fears with a different story around it than you. So what happens when you decide, oh, and you're craving? Well, look at the scale of consciousness that I give you free. There's a lot of free stuff in the shop. Make sure you check it out. Because when you see where you are, you're in craving, which is a state of addiction, and your emotional body craves. If I just have more money, then I'll feel happy or safe. If I have a job, then I'll be able to relax. Otherwise, I've got to stress and worry all the time I have off without a job. The only time in my life, I'm not a slave to someone else, and I'm going to stress out that whole time. How many of you have done that? Pretty much everybody, right? I had a pet sitting business that was extremely seasonal. I'd had 40 people a day in December, and on January 4th, it went to no one, and just barely started picking up a little in February. And then it wasn't until after tax day that things kicked in again. And so the first year I was stressing out that whole 2-3 months. Oh my God. And I'm thinking there's something wrong. I'm not doing it right. I have to find more clients. What's wrong with me? I'm poor and all this stuff. And then I learned year after year, there's a cycle. There's a seasonality. I live in a seasonal beach town, and it's profound when you see it. We were having Easter weeks here, which is huge in Mexico, huge, bigger than Christmas. And so, woo, and then the rest of the time, pretty much nobody. So if you don't understand that and you visited when there was nobody here, you would believe that that's the truth all the time. You would believe that that's the reality. There's nobody here, nobody makes noise, nobody's on the beach. And we have very few people on our beach, even on a busy day. So it's not a tourist beach, thank God. I wouldn't live on it. So, and yet if you came if you came on Sunday, on Easter, you would have been like, oh, this is what it's like here. Okay. And then you'd come back later and say, what happened? Did a bomb go off? Did everybody die? You have to understand the same thing. There's cycles in nature. There's these cosmic energies. The eclipse is coming. The eclipse is related to this other thing. It's going to lead you to this next thing. How can you prepare for it? It's the dragon year. What does that mean? I'm not going to stop talking about it because the dragon keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And I adore dragons. And yes, they're real. And there's many dimensions and many cultures and many ways of accessing dragons. And I've seen them on and off. And one of my daughters is very connected to them. It's been in the last year or so that they've really been coming up for everybody. And now you see dragon everything everywhere, which is fabulous. And many, many, many of my students have dragon guides. And I think the dragons came through in at least one or two of the recent classes, and perhaps the channeled activations and transmissions I did during the retreat. I don't remember all of them. And so that energy is what? It is Kundalini. It is life force. It is magic. It is big. And this year it's green wood, which means it's new, building. So the creativity that you need to come up with this year has to be something new. Are you doing it in a new way? Are you being a new person? Are you thinking about yourself or your business or how you make money or where you live or whether you have to stress out about exactly everything being clean in every moment or whatever your thing is, right? If you're too anal, relaxing, and if you're too messy, cleaning up a bit or whatever, right? Everything is the same. If you're a clutter bug, you're here. And if you're an anal, retentive, driving everybody crazy, wiping every dot thing, you're here. And guess what? You're on the exact same plane. You're just, this is 100 degrees and this is 0 degrees, and you can dial that anywhere in between. So don't think one extreme to the other, because that's a very hard leap to make. Yet the eclipse is a doorway that you're going to walk through. Maybe you're going to fall through it. Maybe you're going to be catapulted through it. Maybe you feel like you're being dragged through it. All I know is I'm very grateful for everything that's happening to me, because I'm an energy healer and I'm a seer and an oracle and all these different things. So I see things. And so I'm a homeopath. So I have all the time. I have food as my medicine. I have homeopathics. I have herbs, I have oils, I have flower essences, I have sage, I have music, I have, chakra bowls. I do a lot of sound healing, which I realized a lot of you don't know, because I only do it when I'm in person. So we do it on the retreats. And I have all these things that are part of my life every single day. I'm reactivating the Infinity Healing Chamber, which I create for you for the show. But I have one around my house. I have one around me. I have the room I'm in. I have them around my daughters. I have them. And then I have them when I get together with a client or for a class, and then I dissolve it and disconnect from it. And those matrices have to be thanked, honored, and released, right? And then a fresh one. This is how I live. I talk to the land. If I don't have enough time to be and just listen and be and talk to the land and look at the sunrise and be in the beach or whatever it is. I mean, sometimes it's not good weather and I sit inside and I can still see it all. And that's medicine. Okay. These are all medicine. So the medicine that you're feeding yourself is what? Are you constantly obsessing and worrying about things that might happen or things that are coming? Do you carry a bunch of guilt and shame so you don't want to respond to certain things? I've had a thing with authority, especially around money, taxes, credit cards, anything to do with that. Maybe it was because my dad was a banker, but it's gone like this. And then when I moved to Mexico was, 8.5 years ago. So we didn't have the super crazy insanity, put your password in 16 times to just look at your, a picture of yourself or something on your computer. My God, the smart apps, stop being smart. My whole screen fills up. Boop, 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 boop. And I'm like, I don't want any of those, but there's no way for me to click something else. So technology, which I love, because look at this, we can talk and I can use and makes our life easier, then becomes a source of frustration. Or is it a way communication that Spirit's talking to you? No, 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 no. So I was doing all of my stuff and I was so sick before the retreat, and I was talking to Donna and she was like, you're a sensitive, you're already feeling the eclipse, and this eclipse on Monday is hitting me wackadoodle big. So I'll show you what's going to happen in a minute for everybody. And I'm having a grand square, and a grand trine, which is square, 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 square. Oh, your wishes are granted. Square, 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 square. Oh, your wishes are granted. And apparently, if you're born with this in your chart, it's pretty intense, and yet you could have huge success. It's not in my chart. It's just what I'm going through. But the fact that it's with an eclipse, that's a full solar eclipse, okay, that is has an alignment. All of our personal planets, Venus, Mercury, all these, Jupiter, they're literally all lined up on the eclipse. This is so profound, okay? And like Saturn is here, where we might look at it as a spine. Saturn is the root, the Lord of karma, the one saying, no, Do it again. No. Have you rechecked? Did you pack your passport? No. Do you know how to use your stuff? No. Get your phone fixed. No. Whatever it is, right? We feel like Saturn is always like, oh, I can't ever go forward and get what I want. Let's be the master. Let's do this right. Let's double check. Don't get to the other room and forget the stuff you really wanted. Or could you just allow everything to release and walk through in the way that is optimal for you? That means that you have to surrender. You have to stop trying to control. You have to stop listening to all your voices. Will that take a long time? It doesn't have to. It's not going to be solved this week. And yet the profound changes that people are feeling after the retreat is amazing, right? It was fun and amazing and juicy and delicious and exhausting and really profound, because the idea of coming is to get out of your environment, to do magical things, to go through ceremony. And the ceremony, oh, I'm opening my heart, but now I'm in the womb, but now I'm rebirthing, and now I'm meeting my inner child, and now I'm bathing myself in love. And then the next day, now I'm going to an ancient site. Now I'm traveling to other lives. Now I'm, swimming in the ocean. Now dolphins are kissing me and recalibrating me. Now the next thing, now the next thing, now the next thing. And what happens normal in your normal life? Maybe an hour of meditation a day. So we just hit it hard. It was like boot camp on steroids. And it wasn't till the end, like, wow, that was profound. That was so amazing. And then this all started coming up again. What's the first reaction? This again. And I was like, wow, really? So what does that tell me? It tells me that everything I went through before, and I don't go to the doctor, and I went to the doctor, and the lady was like, what? How are you walking around? What? She'd look at my throat. She'd look at my ear. She's giving me shots. Chris had to give me shots. And I don't do that normally. I do all my own natural stuff. So I was like, okay, let's take the next level and mix these things together. So I'm doing my energy work, and I'm doing my herbal work, and I'm doing my frequency rife machines and radionics, and I'm taking shots. And great. Okay. Well, part of what happened was natural healing sometimes takes longer. And Western medicine is really good at covering the symptoms up. So whereas I'm all for ending the pain, especially if it's really bad pain, because the pain causes tension, which doesn't allow you to relax and to be in the peaceful, prosperous, powerful, purpose-filled present moment, which is the only place, the now moment, and the only way to open the answers and those doors, those follow your bliss doors that only open for you, is to come into a place where you can have some peace. So allowing yourself to have, pain relief is a great idea. You have to watch, though. Am I relying on it? So what happened 2 days ago, or whenever I just hit the final, sinking into the well of depth of despair, and I'm not believing it. Okay. This is the difference of what I'm teaching you, is that I'm not lost in it. I'm not drowning in it, and I'm not believing it. I'm watching it. I'm observing it. I'm walking through with it and this is what I teach. Okay. While choosing my state, I can be in two worlds or multiple dimensions at the same time. And that's what masters do. Ascended masters, all the master teachers. This is what you learn when you learn to separate your power from other people's opinions, conditioned mind, all the stuff you could leave behind in this room right now. Write it down. Think about it. Give yourself permission to leave it behind. Don't just go, I hope it leaves behind, and I hope I go through this the right way, and I hope I just land there. Would you fly a plane and just hope without doing anything at all to be good at it, or to be a part of it, or to co-create it? You can no longer just go, oh, well, everybody told me that I'm no good. And oh, well, this. I'm not making fun of you. This is what I've lived. This is what's coming out. My glands here, they're not as bad as they were yesterday, but I put colloidal silver in my nebulizer. If you don't know how to do that, I highly recommend it. So coming through was fabulous. And the purpose was to receive the messages and do what it took to be the person who created the container for the retreat. So I did that. and all available things came together and I did it. And then why come afterwards? Well, I shed and I rebirthed, and I shed and I went into the underworld, and I went into the dark and I rebirthed. And this was all while performing, doing, transitioning, transmitting, channeling, healing, leading, guiding, and all the rest of it that the retreats are involved in. And then when I start to get ready to leave and come home, I know I'm going through the ceremonies myself. That's why I go. It was like, oh, wow, this is major. So we decided to stay another night. I could not get myself to pack. I could not get myself to finish putting things away. I just had to be. I just had to melt and be. So we got lucky. We got to stay there one more night. And it was dropping into that peace. I couldn't plan one more thing. I couldn't pack one more bag. I couldn't, get in one more car. It was just like, and I have to melt. And in allowing that, then I allowed the things that were loosened, the things that were shifted, rewired, transformed through all the ceremonies, through all of the things that we did that are cumulative, right? They build up, and then it needs to integrate. Then it needs to go. Like we even had one ceremony leader say, stay in the magic. And when you go home, give yourself at least 3 days before you start thinking, am I different? Did it work? And I couldn't agree more. And I would add, make it 3 weeks if you can. Sometimes I come back from things like this and I literally don't function in reality the same ever again, but at a feeling like a functional level for weeks. Okay. So I'm still in it and I'm shedding. And the realization is to accept what's coming up. What is it speaking to me? Where is the fear? Where's the pain? Where's the block? Where are you procrastinating? Where are you hiding? Where are you not deciding? Where are you hanging on to something that's causing you to struggle? Everything needs to let go so you can flow. You want to flow through the eclipse. All right. You want to flow through, even if rocks are being pelted at you or whatever way that this manifestation is happening to me. So clearly the first thing it's doing is this is childhood. Okay. All of my life, I had tubes put in my ear from surgeries. When I was a child, my hearing would go out in the middle of the day in school. So they taught me lip reading. I had allergy shots for 7 years. So all of this was always the way that I would start to express. And children have a lot of ear infections because they hear no all the time, because they want to be in their world and listen within, and they're starting to be told you can't, you shouldn't, you're not. And so there's a lot of that, and you block out your world this way. Very interesting. So I'm having completely different symptoms, ringing, very sensitivity, just really strange, very interesting. And this ear is actually open. I can blow air out my nose through this ear. I've never been able to do that in my entire life, even after I moved to Europe and most of the allergies went away. So I detoxified all the allergy shots I received. And yet I know from watching natural healing from radionics to homeopathy that you're releasing something from your system. The same is true for what's happening now. You're given an opportunity right now to release something from your system. You don't need to know what it is. You give it permission. You trust your higher self, all the parts of you that know, and you relax into it. In order to do this, you have to receive. The first thing you have to do is receive. And as that breath goes out, you are releasing tension in the muscles in the body. If you sigh faster, what happens then? Well, you have to receive first to be able to give. You have to fill up first to be able to overflow. What we've been taught is to chase. You don't have it. You're not good enough. You have to do more than others, or whatever the story is. Even if you've healed most of that, there's probably another level. That's why when we come together, it doesn't matter if somebody's, been meditating for 80 years and somebody just started yesterday. None of that makes any difference, because you're where you are and you're going to go to the next level for you. I'm not teaching people to all be the same. We're not the same. You're going in your way from where you are to where you're going. So your way through the eclipse portal, I don't know it unless you're a client of mine and we're working together on it. I can't tell you what's there. I can tell you that the more you recognize that this is happening, the more your mind or some other part of you will bring the synchronicities, the miracles, the magic, the thoughts, the connections, whatever you want to call it, to suddenly go, wait a minute, that's a great idea. What if I just sat and I talked and I gave it to the wind and I said, wow, I'm not sure what I want to leave behind. I know I want to be aligned with what's optimal for me at this time. And I'm going through this eclipse portal. There isn't any way around it. So if I'm going to go through this eclipse portal, I want to be aligned. I want to be supported. I want to be with what is optimal for my highest good at this time. And when it is happening, I want to be as present as possible in the way that's optimal for me. So if you start sleeping all the time, and then you get upset that you're sleeping all the time because you'd rather be out at the park or climbing a pyramid or going on a desert adventure or whatever, surrender your ego, surrender your conditioning, surrender the part of you that says, I have to do all that stuff. I have to do all that stuff. I have to do all that stuff. And you're walking around with you and I'm not getting it done. I'm not getting it done. And then you're stressed all day that you're not getting it done, therefore sucking half the energy you have to get something done. One of the things that my mastermind is in our natal chart is really beautiful stuff, like your purpose and your fortune and your destiny, right up there, being seen, illuminated, and other aspects that I picked the date to start this for. And another thing is that the action, the Mars energy, coming in a certain way, but then will burn out because of other aspects. It's very complicated, and so it's take short steps, small steps, short bursts of energy. So instead of saying, I'm going to spend the whole day cleaning the house, or I'm going to spend the whole day, or why didn't I spend the whole day, or why didn't I spend more time today doing this? Stop it right now. Just stop it. Stop criticizing yourself. Stop judging yourself. Stop judging what you did or what you didn't do. Just choose now in this moment and the next moment, and things will shift from now. You're getting dragged through this, or you're getting flowed through this, or you're getting carried through this, or you're transcending through this. What's the choice? Don't sit there and say, I wish I was transcending through this with the fairies. Say, hey, I want to co-create an experience moving through this eclipse with the fairies. I want to be in a river of bliss with goddesses and flowers, and I want to be floating, and I want to see unicorns and whatever, right? I want the dragons to pick me up and fly me to the moon. And, what do you want? Let yourself dream and imagine. This is the language of creation. And the dragon energy says, create something new, be different. Take all of these energies, think a lot, okay, about the idea that you have the power to choose. It doesn't matter what happened to you in the past. It only tells you information, and you can choose to recreate it or not. If you are stuck recreating it, step out. I have one client who I respect so much because she's had so much happen to her in her life. I mean, so much drama, so much trauma. She should be sitting in a room with PTSD, never speaking again. And yet she can be the most delightful, vibrant, fairy-like being you've ever met. And what happens then? Well, she gets into emotion. She reacts from, I'm weak and I can't do anything by myself. And you think, what? I just saw you just, spreading joy everywhere. And now you're like, no. And that's not fair. And I don't have the strength. And as a teacher or a mentor, as somebody who's gone through all of this shit and going through it still, I'm not going through it and then carrying it as a badge of like, look how many wounds I have. I've worked so hard. When do I get what I want? Guess what? I used to do that. I figured out spirit doesn't care. It's not like angels and spirit don't care that you've suffered. Suffering doesn't give you anything. Don't believe any of this bullshit about the more you suffer, the more you get some reward later. No. Okay. The more you agree to the suffering, the more you think it's outside of your control, the more you think it's a curse of your family. It could be any of those things. And we can unravel it. We can dissolve it. We can embrace it. We never hate it. We don't get rid of it. We say, I love you. Thank you so much. I'm saying I love you to this infection. Why? Why is this infection so intense in my entire head? Why is my hearing changing? Why are my senses upgrading? Because I'm doing my spiritual work. 99,000 times speed of light and beyond. Because I want to use this moment. I want to use this energy. I want to flow through, and I may go clunk, clunk, yay, clunk, clunk, yay. That's my square tire. My squares in astrology are blocks. They're somebody standing in your way, the door being locked, the building being burned down, and saying, can't do it this way anymore. Figure it out. So they're like, boom, oh, turn around, oh, turn around, oh, turn around. And then, oh, the magic fairies show up and you fly through to a new universe and things are better than before. Because I know that's the energy I'm in personally right now. It really helps, because on top of everything else in my dark night of the soul, which I sent out in an email if you want to read some of it, I'm like, I just let go and sunk to the bottom of the deep well. And I'm watching it. And part of me had to be in it. So it was like, whoa. And my emotional body was like, we have to purge this from the cells, from the auric field. And if we don't purge it in a way, right, that you fully embrace it, it's still going to be with you. So I've told many people in the last month, have a breakdown. Told 2 people in my mastermind. Great. 2 people in my past lives class. Embrace it. I'm so frustrated. I'm so this. Good. Accept it, eat it, lick it, drink it, taste it, savor it, sit in it, wallow it. Now, don't stay there forever. But it's like saying, I'm not here. I'm going to pretend I'm there. And I'm going to keep meditating to be a happy, enlightened person while I'm sitting in a pile of shit and it's eating my body. It doesn't make any sense. We have to accept where we are. It doesn't make it worse unless we absorb it, decide to live it, and project it out into the reality we're creating. So everyone else is a reflection of you. Does that mean that if you start to love yourself and imagine that you have a harmonious relationship with your family, that it will happen? It will get better, but they're not going to change. So it means, and you'll get this later. Once you get out of where you are, the next truth is unveiled and you realize, I have to accept them being them. It's not about me. And I can choose to be with them or not be with them. I can talk to them or not talk to them. Same thing with your thoughts or your mindsets. That's not true. That was given to me. I was brought that. I have that because my head was chopped off, because I spoke up to the king. I have this because I was burned at the stake because I was a healer. Now I want to be a healer, but I'm afraid of being a healer. And every problem in the world is coming up, from me getting sick, to me losing money, to me being afraid of asking for sales, for me afraid to be being seen, and on and on and on, everything. If you're one of us, you know that this is what comes up, right? These are the things that are coming up to show you this is the problem. Accept it. No. Eat it. Let it become part of you. What happens when you digest something? You pull the nutrients out and you shit the rest out. That's exactly what happens when you do this work with me. You're going, yes, okay, here I am. So I'm sitting in the bottom of the well and the power goes out. The power went out for the whole city. I found out later that someone hit a car with a young mother with a 1-year-old and 3-year-old in it. She ran into a light pole and died, and the power went out in the whole city. So blessings. I don't know why I brought that in, but I felt like that was very poignant. And I know that people leave by their choice. So I feel for the babies and the families, and I especially feel for them because they think they miss her and they feel that it's tragic, and they're probably going to have at least a while of grief and readjusting. And yet I know she chose that. It was her time to go. There's a gift for everybody involved, and she's on to something else because this is the portal, and she's decided to leave the room for real, right? In a way that frees her to be something else. And we're stuck in our story here, judging everybody doing whatever. That's not fair, and that's tragic, and that's whatever. How do you know? You don't know what their soul path is. What if losing everything, including your legs, led you to the happiest, most wonderful relationships, the deepest, most profound truths, and you became a multimillionaire and everybody wanted to know your truth or whatever else you think you want? Okay? You don't know. So if you keep trying to carry with you what you think is what you want, or the way it has to happen, or what has to happen before you're good enough, and you just start relaxing and being in the moment. So I took people through prosperity magic, and then I took people through past lives powers. And now we're going into the mastermind. Now, you don't have to have done those to join the mastermind. However, watching this process has been about coming back to the present moment. And the people who've been in those came and they're telling me, I've never felt like this before. It's not like, I'm free, I'm awesome, I'm a millionaire. They're not waiting for that proof, the results that are outside of them, right? They're waiting for they're coming more into this moment. They're seeing themselves. They're going, I feel so much lighter. Oh, I'm not getting upset about that anymore. And people in the retreat too are having this experience. And it's like, I'm starting to see who I am in relationship to my life. And it takes time to see somebody, to go to the job, or to see your mother, or to encounter your dogs, or whatever else is in your life. And then in comparison, you start to see the shifts that are happening, or that you're like, oh, hell no, that's not, no, I'm not making that. I had a guy at my very first retreat who came out of the meditation on the equinox and said, I can't believe that's me. That's me. That's the life I've been living. I don't want to live that life. That's not me. I'm not interested in living that way. Why would I do that? Why would I think that about myself? Oh my gosh, that much change in that 1 hour or in that retreat. Seeing yourself so differently, feeling and reacting to things so differently. It seems subtle, while your ego mind is over here saying, but where's my soulmate? And where's my $1 million? And where's my job? And when am I going to have this? And when am I going to have that? Yabbity dabbity doo. That's another person that you need to unhook from the opinions of, is your inner judge. And we're all really good at manifesting the inner judge. Woot! So that was another theme that came up in the retreat. For everybody in a different way, judging yourself, judging others, having certain things, make you feel judged. And wow, some of them were watching people in completely different realities who do not have any idea. She's thinking this, she's thinking that. It's like Mars and Venus, and then coming together and just going, I would never in my wildest dreams have thought that in that situation. So the reality is I get to see that everybody perceives everything very differently, and through their past, and through their parents, and through their fears, and through their mindsets. So the best thing you can do is use this as a cleanse, use this as an opportunity, use this consciously as much as possible, and don't stress about knowing it all. Just give permission to yourself. Give permission to yourself to let go what is optimal for your highest good at this time, to flow through this equinox portal into the new room. Ready and willing to bring with me the gems, the powers, the beauty, ready to bring with me the dreams, the connections, and ready to let go of that which blocks me from my senses, from my intuition, from trusting myself, from listening to my inner voice, from being in the present moment, and whatever else. So I know you want all the things, and this is a manifesting prosperity, magic manifesting mastermind. So the mastermind concept is that I'm here to guide you, to watch you, to teach you. I've been on this path a long time. Are you starting a business? Are you running into issues at your job? Do you want a different job? Do you want to say, no, I'm not working those shitty hours anymore. I want to raise. Do you want to, leave your husband? Do you want to, move to a new country, but your family doesn't want you to? Like, where are you? What's happening? Are you looking for a job, but you don't want a job? You don't know how to create. You feel lost and alone because people aren't in your life right now. Everybody's going through something, and that's on top of everything going on in the world. So wherever you are is perfect. And if you're there on purpose and everything is being done for you because of where you are, it has to be done in a certain way. So if you imagine that there's all these parts of you, your higher self and your I am presence, your body intelligence and elemental and Gaia, that whole non-moon, that whole Mother Earth that is your body. Okay. What about your higher self or your Akashic records or your other selves? What about your angels or your dragons or your guardians? What about your divine guides and sacred feminine beings that are with you? Could you trust them? Could you start to relax? Could you realize that you can't do it alone anyway? You're also fully funded. That means everything you're encoded with is there for this moment, for what's next. You don't have to be like, well, if it's there, then why don't I see my money now? Now you're being an egotistical jerk and you're listening to the past and the people and the rules and all that. That doesn't see magic. That only sees what's here in front of you. It only sees through these narrow, narrow eyes. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What you need to do is open up. And that's what we're doing. So what if you were just like, whatever it is, I trust, I align with my highest good, I'm on the path, I'm guided by all these guides, if I can feel them or not, if I see them or not, I love them, I'm ready, I'm walking, I am supported. Okay, so if you're supported, you have the opportunity to choose what is it that you're supported in, and how are you supported? And I don't really understand why this is coming up again. Or for me, I could say, okay, I clearly have a lot more to release, and I'm very happy. If I'm going to release a lot of these patterns that have lived in this body, then it's clear to me, because of the alchemy that's happening in my body anyway, from 4 years of eating pure green juice and all this stuff, is like, wow, not just losing weight or feeling more energy or something. There's another alchemy happening in my body, and I'm watching it like a sci-fi movie, like, wow, this is interesting. Then I'm doing my spiritual work to build that body up so that I can be in a space of flow. I can have the energy and I can have the conduit. It's like the chakra upgrades and stuff that need to be done so that I can have that opportunity to channel, to be the conduit, to receive the optimal, the maximum of the optimal energy that's available to me for this portal. So with everything I've been through, I've been using the energies up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on retreat and I'm going to go into my thing. And now I'm sitting with my thing, and I kept having to postpone our shows. And I'm like, I want to tell everybody about all this epic stuff. And I'm like, no, I have to honor myself. I can't do everything. I can't serve everybody. I can't do that. And yet I'm like, but that's my purpose. So instead I have to relax. And I wasn't really happy about that, right? I have to relax into the moment, and I have to let go of being the control freak. And I have to allow myself to be the channel for what is optimal, because if I'm not optimal, then how's it going to help you in the first place? Right? So, okay, I'm going to share a few more things. We're going to close. And thank you for coming. I hope you will share the Infinite Show. I hope you will tell people about it. I hope you'll come and let me know about people you think would be good on the show, and shows I would be good on if you like what I do. So today we called it the Dragon Goddess Eclipse, and I don't know how much I'm going to go into the Dragon Goddess part of it. However, I'm going to do 2 shows on Saturday and on Monday on the eclipse. And these are going to be all about this idea of the dragon and the goddess. So I'm going to share with you in a moment, after I give you some of this logistic information, about why it's come down, like shortened down, this and this and this and this and this. Oh, goddess and dragon, goddess and dragon. The Kundalini, the caduceus, right? The 2 snakes that go like this, the goddess and the dragon. This is the female and the masculine. The masculine is, most of the dragons I work with are female dragons. That the masculine energy of this year, this dragon year, is masculine, and masculine is the builder. The sacred masculine has to be in balance with the sacred feminine, has to move through all of your chakras in order to open your inner eye and your crown, that you can live as the creator. Okay. And that's what you're meant to do. So my retreat coming up in Greece is all about that. Is activating goddess temples, reconnecting to your navel to Gaia, direct access back to source energy, be it the divine creator feminine, the divine creator masculine, or any aspect of you, and the dragon being your Kundalini, which literally the dragon or serpent, Delphine, was the daughter of Gaia, born and put in Delphi, which is her sacred place, underneath in the earth, to be the protector of the access to the divine feminine. And she was in the story, which is energetic, right? It's telling you that in the story, she's protecting the divine feminine. The oracle is being the channel for the divine feminine to the world. This is all happening within the fully embodied sacred feminine. What happens then is the masculine. And we know, we look at history, the masculine energies rose and started taking over. Christianity came in, got rid of all pagan, got rid of all nature, got rid of all cultures that honored multiple, the life force in all things, or honored the feminine, and took the feminine down until actually killing women, right? So it was started with taking the feminine, trying to own the feminine. So Apollo, embodying the concept of the sacred masculine, comes and fights this evil dragon, who's this divine, beautiful essence that I'm honored to have helped reawaken last year. And I'm going back to Greece, and I hope you come with me to do more work with Delphine. And you can look her up. And I didn't know about her till I was there. And the story is, telling us something. He killed her, burned her, and built his temple on top of her. And then he took the oracle and put her in the temple. And then he told the whole world, Delphi became the most respected, the wealthiest, and the most sought after place for what? For the goddess energy. For only a woman could be the oracle, because no matter how much the men and the priests tried, they did not have the access. So all the women, including me in 2 lives, trained at the sanctuary of Athena. They're in the same place. Not all of us were the oracle, but all of us were in the school. We supported, we purified, we learned all of this. This is the kind of wisdom that is coming back. This is the kind of memories back to sacred wisdom you have, or lives you lived. You could have been a vet. It doesn't have to be a priestess, okay? Although a lot of my people have that. So the goddess, the sacred feminine, the intuitive, respecting it. Instead of, we don't let women open bank accounts, vote, women are possession. You provided everything for the children. You did the cooking, the cleaning, the childbearing. But because you didn't bring home a check, you don't have the right to any money. That paradigm better die pretty soon. If you're in that one, I hope you're going to be a part of healing that bullshit. And that whole idea that the feminine is bad, evil, you're a witch, you're going to be burned at the stake, you're going to be ridiculed, you're going to be hung, you're going to be quartered, drawn and quartered, you're going to be whatever. It's still in the consciousness. And yet we're going through a portal. What would you like to leave behind? Well, I'd rather ho'oponopono my ass off and go through that portal without that, because we're seeing the reflection in the world. You're seeing the extremes. So the dragon is the life force. It is the awakening of your own life force from your 8 original cells, which holds your soul blueprint. So you have access to everything. You're fully funded. The problem is in all the chakras, there's these blocks, there's these mindset, there's these fears, there's these patterns that keep you spinning, seeking, and not believing. That's the place we are. My people are coming and going, wow, I'm starting to get it. I'm seeing it when it happens. And then I'm embracing it. And then I'm slowly not believing it. And I'm slowly moving. Okay. So that's the concept here. Why is this important with the eclipse? Because we want to work with the energies that are most powerful right now. And if we're in the year of the dragon, there's going to be opportunities, there's going to be strength. You could be overwhelmed by them. You could hide and not take advantage of them. You could jump at all of them and they're not all for you. And there's going to be this energy saying, I'm building you whatever you want, but you have to be new and creative. Do you want to drag in your fear and build the foundation of your business based on, oh, I'm not good enough, but I'm going to keep working and working until I am? You have to bring whatever you have with you. And you can give permission to the deep underlying causes so that, like Western medicine, we're not suppressing the symptoms. So this time I'm living through it with the natural and going deeper, suffering more. And yet I know it's because then I get more of the messages and I let myself go into the dark night of the soul. And I let myself keep postponing these instead of feeling like the duty to what I told you I was going to do was more important than me. How can I not be my best and then push myself to show up for you? I want you to translate what my story is into your life. This is from earthstar.org. So I get their newsletter. They do wonderful stuff about space and moons and maps and what planets are doing what. And this is a eclipse map that they shared that's just updated with some adjustments. So this is the most, and where you see the path is the totality, what they call the totality. So if you were in this path right here, look at that, San Antonio, I used to live there. That's right in the totality of it. Right here, a little bit of Oklahoma, Missouri, bottom of Illinois, some Kentucky, right? Up here, bottom of Michigan, right through Toronto, almost looks like Newark, New York. Yeah, wow, New York is really going to get it up through Maine here. So that means that you can please use your something, see the whole thing. Now I want you to think about this. Okay, let's say you're not interested in looking at it, or you're going to be working, or you're going to be doing whatever, or you can't see it, or you didn't buy the glasses, or you get sick and you fall asleep. I don't care, whatever it is. Energetically, it's still happening. So it's happening to all of us. It's happening differently to the planet as a collective, to each of us individually, how our charts are, where we are in our path, what we've let go of, what we're ready to move into. All of those things come into play. And then you go through this tunnel. It's like, I'm going to go on stage now as who I am. I can't pretend, I can't be who I'm going to be in 2 years. So I have to go with who I am now. That energy is the totality of the eclipse is more energetically total for you. An eclipse is the moon and the sun and the earth line up in a way that one of them cuts off your vision of the other. In this case, it's a total solar eclipse. That means that even though the moon is smaller than the earth and smaller than the sun, it's coming between the sun and the earth. And the moon is your wishes and your wants, your sacred feminine, and the sun is yourself, your desires, right? And so now your emotions and stuff are blotting out your ability to see the self that you've been. This is a blessing. Imagine if you saw this as a moment. Oh, I don't even have to deal with me. What if I have, a moment or 3 hours or one day where all of who I thought I was, I just get a break from it? You get to decide. Everybody's going to experience it. These people get a little bit more. I highly recommend that you watch the show with Donna. It's here on the channel. This is the one I did last week, also a transmission. So the shows that are coming up are Saturday. I'm going to take you rebirthing into the underworld of Gaia's womb waters. I'm going to share some of the things that have happened, some of the insights I now have, share some of the pictures, some of the energies with you, and we're going to go on a rebirthing experience so you too, before the eclipse on Monday, can have a rebirth. I consider this a gift to you because it's going to be a very powerful opportunity, whether you can come live or not. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time, 12 noon Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific. So please watch it later, if possible, before Monday. Okay, that's the reason that I've arranged it this way. And we're going to be rebirthing. And what better way to do that than to really going back into the womb, into the sacred feminine? This entire year is about the sacred feminine. And how much can you embrace it? And the beautiful dragon energy saying, being that masculine in a sacred way and saying, I'll build it for you. I'll keep you safe. What do you need? I gotcha. Now, on Monday, the eclipse portal, I'm going to be with you at noon Central, a little bit earlier than now, or than Saturday. And we're going to go on a magical journey because we're going to be in the eclipse. It's going to be more of this divine goddess empowerment, the raising of your frequency, your dragon energy, sacred feminine freedom, freeing ourselves as we move through, flow through, fly through. What if we could empower all of us and all of the world and every woman and everyone who's ever been a woman and everyone who knows a woman, and our concept of value and respect and willingness to pay women for what they can do really well and serve the world in the highest possible way. The love, the capacity for intuitive love, for acceptance, for eternal cycle, for accepting death, reabsorbing, recreating. This is the divine. Now, there's plenty of men bodies, right? Plenty of you that are also having the same rebirthing and this experience, and you're balancing the masculine and feminine. And that's what the goddess and the dragon is about. So in Greece, we're going to do that. In Avalon, we're going to do that. Perhaps here at my house for the solstice in summer, we're going to have some fairy magic and some ritual magic and some doing some really fun things together, being very creative. And so this goddess empowerment, sacred feminine freedom is for you and for everyone. So the more of you that come, the more of you that watch, the more of you that share it, the more we're going to have a wave of overflowing. Okay. So it's going to be wonderful. And this is the rebirthing. This is one of our cenotes that we went into, actual, beautiful, pure water. This was our very last day of the Inner Goddess Retreat. We had an amazing rebirthing with a gong master in the waters. And this is our beautiful group from the Dolphin Mayan Retreat in front of the eclipse or the equinox, on the equinox in front of the pyramid at Koba. And this is going to be for Monday, our Goddess Empowerment, Sacred Feminine Freedom Experience. So for some of the details, if you want more, on the 8th, it's 18 degrees of Aries. It's a full solar eclipse. Why does 18 degrees matter? If you look at your natal chart and you see 18 degrees, you know you're getting more of a direct, strong experience. So 8 years in Aries, this is not like a new thing, but it's an elliptical. So Aries does not stay the same amount of time. I mean, I'm sorry. This does not stay the same amount of time in each sign. So it's because it's elliptical. So it's really weird because in Libra, it would be a short amount of time. In Aries, it's a long amount of time. And we have these different energies. Your Aries is the first sign. It is headstrong. It is thinking of yourself first, coming first, being, taking that action, and the opposite of that too. Uranus is sudden change, wanting change, and hiding from change. Okay? Independence, wanting something new. Libra is beautiful harmony, wanting people to be happy, and the opposite of that. And that's near Saturn, which is about rules and discipline. So you see these energies that are like this. Now there's another aspect. It's a conjunction to Chiron. Chiron is what we call the wounded healer, but to me, he's a teacher. He was the teacher of Asclepios, the god of healing, who has the centers we go activate and we do the dream healing with, and the daughters are all the healing, okay? Hygeia and all these other names that we use for healing. And healing and health practices are his daughters of healing. So this is a bridge that we're in between portals, and Chiron's here to help you build a bridge from feeling wounded to realizing that when you accept yourself, when you rise above, the gods actually said, we can't make you immortal to Chiron. However, we can, give you this upgrade, make you a master, make you see that you can't get rid of your wounds, or we can't heal your body, but we will make you one of the gods. And so being a teacher isn't saying, I didn't have a problem, I don't have any problems. It's saying, I have that, and I'm also living in my divine mind. So if you're a healer awakening in some way, in some form, your light is awakening, Chiron is a buddy. I call him my buddy. I love it when Chiron comes. It's an asteroid. So where you are now to where you're going, wow, help from the wounded healer, okay? As a centaur, he's a blend of magic and human and higher evolved states and lower base states. As a mentor, teacher, he was a parent. He works with mental health, which people believe they're having an issue with, but they're not, because we're going into a new reality. So who you thought you were and how you think can't be the same. So what you tried to not think or tried not to be normal is what you need to now embrace. Excuse me. And spiritual wellness, these are all what Chiron is helping you build this bridge. So between now and next week, and then this is going to continue after, but this is another one of the support systems that's here for you. A spiritual, portal, or doorway, bridging your old life to a new life. To the self, for self, a doorway or a portal between one state of being and your new life. So this transformation from like being a horse or a centaur, being an animal, being fully in your body, in the physicality of it. And then that's also doesn't mean being in a body is a dark nature, but it's also that underworld that we're talking about. Acknowledging these parts of you because they're a part of you. And then the more you acknowledge them and love them, the more they release their power to you, the more they release that, and you can let go of the pain. And all that is letting go of your perception of what it meant and what it means and who you are. So that dark nature that's ready to be evolved. And you have to be a maverick. You have to be different. You have to be like this in order to evolve into your true self. We're all becoming our individual spiritual self. So Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, all your personal planets or whatever, if they're in this, right, between 14 and 24 degrees, if your planet is in Aries, Libra, or Capricorn, because those are related, this hit is stronger for you. Now, this could be starting over at 0 because Aries is first. And it could be the other side of that same thing, which is not wanting to start over. Are you feeling resistance to starting over? Are you feeling worried that you're not prepared? Are you going into that fearing to starting a new life fresh? What is your basket filled with, right? Chiron spends more time in Aries than other signs because this fear to start a new life. He's here to show you how you can become a master and a healer and a god, or however you want to perceive it, and teach yourself or be in the world what is needed, even with your wounds, okay? Even with your wounds. So find the doorway. Now, Mercury retrograde is in Aries. So of course, with Mercury retrograde, this is your messenger, where your message is coming from, where your divine voice is coming from. They're coming from reviewing, reflecting. That's again, coming into the moment, looking behind. How you act and proceed and take action, be present about it. Don't be panicked. I had to let go of a huge agenda and I was carrying it for days. And I'm like, I'm too sick to do anything. And I got to get all this stuff done. And then I sat there for a minute and energetically I could feel it. I thought, why am I doing this to myself? I need to be in my healing. I need to be listening to this, not going, I got all this stuff to do, but I'm never going to get it done. That doesn't help anybody, right? So Mercury in Aries can feel less confident, and yet it means that you need to go over it. It's again that Saturn saying, look. Stop trying to get the perfect start. Stop trying to make the perfect ending. Stop judging yourself. All of that stuff, let it go. So as the eclipse happens, it's not going to go bam, and then you're going to explode and your new life will start at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Isn't how it works. You'll have some things change like that. Some things slow. Some things realized, dawning. You got to let it unfold. Let it unfold. Okay. Now get back. Let's see, can we move forward? Thank you. Each time you gain skills from this experience I'm having, I'm a new person. When I was in several of the caves, I was rebirthing. I had visions of this beautiful shaman, feminine being rising out of this pod, like a big pod that was like a big flower pod that was like being peeled back, literally just like, ugh. And I was like, oh, and I was like, I got glimpses and ideas and visions, but that part of me is unfolding. So now I have to be the one in this life saying, well, if I am that, even though I don't know exactly what it is yet, how would I think? How would I act? How would I treat myself? I know the important work I need to do this year. Am I doing what I need to, or am I chasing something else? Am I overwhelming myself with this when this is what I'm meant to be? Do I need to listen to this and let go for a few days? Yes. So here's your Mercury retrograde dates. Try not to do things during this period that you don't ever want to repeat again, because that's part of what it is. Mercury will go retrograde again another time, and maybe what you're doing now. So how wonderful that you're listening to yourself. You're honoring yourself. You're accepting help. You're flowing through it. You're staying focused on the fact that I don't know why, but I am going to. All right. So here's some dates for you. Mercury retrograde. Venus is your feminine, of course, your goddess. It's your wishes, your wants, your desires. Pisces is very intuitive. Neptune is dreamy. Those are very unformed. That's a lot of like fluidity, which is beautiful in some things. And that's when it's really good to have the dragon energy give you a little form if you need it. So visualize the ideal. Venus enters Aries, and then again, that's this first sign. Are you bringing your soft feminine now into the first sign, into this fear of starting something new or starting something new? So on April 4th, which we've just we're in right now, I think, right? Yeah. So today we have Venus, we have the sacred goddess, we have the sacred feminine. That's wishes and allowing and soothing and savoring and being in that beautiful flow where you let yourself receive in what we talked about with Aries a minute ago, right? Any of those fears of moving forward. The solar eclipse, we know. Okay, we've already talked about all of that. And oh, here's another magical thing. The planets are lining up on that same day. Okay, so it's going to be Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and there's Uranus and Neptune. And you actually look at one of those little apps, and then Chiron and Eris are going to be up there. But if you see them, if you're actually able to see them in the sky, you won't be able to see those. So all of these planets, if you understand or you want to look up what any of these mean, that's very profound to be in alignment. That's kind of like having a group call or getting all these people on Zoom together on this moment you're going through a portal. That's a huge amount of support. Okay, I'm going to end by offering you this. This is Anubis. Yes, this used to be Perseus and is a boy body and is renamed Anubis. And I met him a year ago when he was 5 months. And then our December retreat got to meet him and we got to just touch his head. And this time we got to go and they said, well, you'll be able to touch his body, you know, he'll swim by. And when it came time to be with him, I jumped up first because he's my bud. And I was trying to pet him or something, and he kept coming up with his mouth. And I finally looked at Valerie, I looked at the trainer, and I'm like, because I know I've worked with these people for 8.5 years, that when they're children, I was the first kiss for another dolphin once. And she'd not been trained at all, but she was with her mom. So my group, my retreat group, we were actually in the water with the 2 moms and the 2 babies. And the babies were just playing. One was playing with a leaf, the little boy. The little girl kept trying to come up and kiss me. And I'm like backing when the trainer's like, no, she's not supposed to do that. We haven't trained her anything. But you know how little children want to do what their mom does. And I was with this was when I was with the owner and the founder. And I just kind of backed away. She kept did it. I don't know, like at least 6 times. She just wanted to come to me, wanted to kiss me. And so I finally the trainer looked across at the founder and she went, so it is. And I got her first kiss, literally her first kiss, because the trainers hadn't even kissed her. And she just came right up and kissed me. So the fact that he did that, I did the same. I looked at Valerie and she goes, he wants to kiss you. So we all got to kiss him. And I got to be his first kiss other than Valerie, the trainer. And that's this moment. So the frequencies of absolute bliss and love, the transmission between us. I had touched him already, had been with him already. So we have that quantum entanglement. And yet this is an opportunity to receive this beautiful gift. So Anubis being the god of the underworld would be a wonderful idea for us because we are really going through the underworld to come out into a new room. So I'm going to breathe in and give thanks to this infinity healing chamber, to this divine space and time together, to the information that has flowed to us and through us, to all that has been released and received, and in alignment with the highest good for all concerned. We walk through this portal with all of these energies, all these guides, and all these gifts. With great thanks, in La Quechalakin, I am another you, you are another me, we are one. Namaste. Thank you so much. I will see you on Saturday. Many blessings. So please reach out to me if you would like to talk about the mastermind, Greece, Avalon, or any of the other retreats that are brewing. I would love to be on a marketing schedule and get them out to you. And yet I have to go through this transformation. That's why My path, I feel, is extremely authentic because I have to listen to what's happening for me. Who I was before the eclipse is not who I am now, who's not who I will be next week, who is not who I will be the week after that. It doesn't mean that I change the plans once they're formed. However, I get into communion with the energies, with the time, with the place, with the dates. I go out and I research, and then I start connecting and receiving. So with Avalon, which is Glastonbury and Stonehenge and that area of England, full of goddess lore, and the Isle of Avalon and the Lady of the Lake, and full of Celtic wisdom and knowledge, and the Chalice Well, and these places I've now been embracing that while I've been resting. It's something I can do and something that felt good. So it gave me space to do that instead of trying to do that at midnight while I'm doing everything else I should do. And then flowed together with private time at the Chalice Well, private time at the White Spring, private time. Just unbelievable, beautiful things are lining up. Beautiful people, beautiful places, sacred, again, the dragon and the goddess, the sacred feminine and the life force, the power to bring your sacred feminine back, to be safe, to be expressed, to be unique, to be reconnected. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. May this circle be open yet unbroken, and the peace and the beauty and the release and the rebirthing and the opportunities of this moment go with us. The guides, the divine energies within our light body that are ready and willing to guide us in peace and prosperity and love through the dark. We accept it all. We accept that this path is here for our highest good. We accept that everything that is required is in the moment. And I accept that I will walk in the moment, accepting and loving myself and whatever is, allowing the doors to open. My bliss is my guide. And when I do not see it and do not feel it, I trust that it is there, like a compass in my heart. And so it is. Namaste. Ciao, ciao, my loves. Okay, where are you? There you are. Oh, hello, beautifuls. I haven't seen you. So hi, Sylvia and Josie and Kim. Josie, Monday's your birthday. Oh my goodness me. I think we talked about that, didn't we? Wow. Well, girlfriend, you are in such massive change, such huge re-empowerment. You know more than I know, right? And wow, I had forgotten that. Oh my goodness me. Fantastic. I love you. I hope I'll see you there. Please come. Hi, Eritek. So grateful to see you live again. Thank you, honey. I know, like I said, I've been ready. Oh, I'm ready. I've been causing it. That's how I feel now. My son's father died. Oh, on 3/3. Wow. And I'm just getting back to putting much effort into my business, going through some serious grief. Oh, honey. I'm going to just take you right into my arms, just sink into the womb of the mother, just allow all of that to come up. There's such deep, amazing shifts that are happening. And we honor him, and we honor you and your son for walking this path and this new place you're going. You know, he's there. He's doing it in a different way. Wow. Thank you all for being here and sharing with me. I love you so much. There's my little bee. Hello, beautiful bee. I love you so much. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Saravana. Magical as always. You're so welcome. Thank you. So we're not doing the meditation at the same time with the spiritual weather report. We're sort of bringing in the channeled energies, and then that's what Saturday and next week will be, is some of those processes. However, if you do the one from last week, it was a bit of a transmission as well. Thanks. Ciao.